Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
10 after the hour 6 in the mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. I am Andile Ncube. This is Sports Night Amplified with Andile. It's a Monday. You know what that means, right? It's the three wise men. But hey, we're not always so wise. They're in the building. On the far left, they're playing left back today for us. We've got the principal. And of course, next to him, we've got the man known as Super Journal. We'll get into them and what they've got to say. Looking back at the weekend that was, the Formula One, the cricket. What else was there this past weekend? International football. I don't know if we want to talk about Man United. I would suggest we just leave it alone. You know, let's build. It's like it's a popular term, builder. It's not a builder. And of course, some big decisions over the weekend. There's a decision that was made in the first division of South African football that should be a source of shame for someone. An absolute source of shame. But what you heard top of the show there again was Hugo Bruce. Hugo Bruce speaking about how he needs a meeting with Ncube to clarify what it is that he meant when he said he can't pick a player from Kaizer Chiefs at the moment. I mean, I thought the coach was pretty clear in what he was saying, but apparently he's been misconstrued.
Yeah, there was no ambiguity there, but, you know.
Apparently somebody went and further misconstrued it. But the biggest one, I have never seen a press statement like the Golden Arrows one.
The three wise men, but not always so wise, on Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
It's 13 after the hour 6 on the mighty Metro FM. What a weekend it was. But talk to me. From the weekend that was, what would you like to touch on? Manchester United going down to Arsenal was a great game. Enjoyed it. You've got Haaland scoring yet another hat-trick. So we can speak about Premier League football. Lyle Foster scoring another goal. Yes, he's on the losing side again, but this is second in two matches, so great to see that. We can bring it back home. The MTN8, there was a lot to talk about there. A lot to talk about there, particularly in the Chiefs-Sundowns game. In the Chiefs-Sundowns game, was it a tactic from Molefe that possibly could have been the biggest smash and grab, as the late Sheikhs would say? The biggest smash and grab victory that would have been masterminded by Molefe? Or from a Kaizer Chiefs point of view, do you look at that and you say, what was that, particularly in that first half? What about Sundowns? Are you happy with how your team was unable to penetrate that Kaizer Chiefs defense? Let's have those conversations. There's so much to talk about. Orlando Pirates, of course, are winning their match on Sunday as well. It's exactly 14 after the hour 6 on the mighty Metro FM. On a Monday, it's the three wise men. But hey, we're not always so wise. On the far left, I've got a man who's looked at the footage of many things, including the Mzwane incident, where somebody says, how do you knock a man almost unconscious? He needs to be shipped off in a neck brace and considered to go to hospital, and you don't even get a card. I'm like, what game were you watching? Victor, what do you have today?
The first one, we're sending a message to Stellenbosch. Hey, about Tolama red card. Wednesday, they got a red card. Weekend, they got a red card. Someone scores a goal and remove a t-shirt. Another yellow card, which is unnecessary. So we say, calm down, Stellenbosch. Hopefully, Steve Barker will work on that. We'll go on again to the Chiefs Sundowns match, where we saw a ball, whether it crossed the line or not.
Another one.
We'll take it to Soccer Zone because we'll show the
circumference.
The circumference as to whether the whole of the ball did cross over the line or not. So that will.
Do we have a good angle this time? Because I wasn't happy with the angles provided in previous games. I think it was in Cape Town. Chiefs again were involved in that one. I wasn't happy with the angles. Is there a proper angle this time around?
From the angle I saw, all of them, they never saw a goal. So,
but there is a proper angle.
Proper angle from the goal line, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other one that we'll check, we can only talk about the Mzwane incident. That was accidental collision. So
okay. We'll get into it.
Okay.
We'll get into it. But also, there's a video that's going around of a match that was played over the weekend. It's in the National First Division, the championship. Two teams vying for gold here. Mm-hmm. That incident, Davik.
Yeah.
And we'll probably just post a video there as well to show that incident properly. It was Maritzburg United and Tuks.
Yes.
A goal is scored. Mm-hmm. The team is still celebrating. Mm-hmm. They are done celebrating. They're retreating to their own half when the ball starts before they settled on the other half and the goal is scored.
Can we go to law?
We'll go to law. I want to know what Mazola's got. Super General.
Yeah, I've got a lot. Hugo Bruce, we heard top of the show. addressing comments that he made last week about why Kaizer Chiefs players were not in the squad. I'll try to clarify. My colleague Velile Mnyandu was at the press conference just about maybe 3 hours ago.
It's sad that at a time when the coach is preparing for other things, he has to answer on Kaizer Chiefs and why the players aren't there. But then again, it's sad that he had to be asked about that in the first place.
Yeah, true. And I was surprised the question came up, to be honest, because Hugo Broos has been a national team coach for nearly over 2 years now.
Yeah.
And he's hardly ever picked Kaizer Chiefs players. So 2 years later, why are we still asking the coach, what do Kaizer Chiefs players have to do to be in the squad? You know, Molefe Nteki clarified in his own press conference in the build-up to the Sundowns game that he was a Bafana coach previously, and if the coach picks players that he thinks will get the job done for him, so be it, you know. And then there's that story that broke on Sunday night about the Golden Arrows coach confirming to us at SABC Sport that he'd left his job as Golden Arrows coach. Golden Arrows released a statement today to say they've accepted the resignation.
Is that a statement?
Well, a tweet, maybe you can say. Well, what do we say now? An X or a tweet? I don't know. A tweet saying they've accepted the resignation. That's all they said. So meaning, as things stand, Mabuti Kanyeza is the sole head coach of Golden Arrows. And then there's more from the Bafana camp as well, replacements that coach Hugo Broos has made, as well as we'll talk about Siyanda Kulu's move. I finally got an interview with him talking about why he did not go back to Europe and decided to join SuperSport United.
Well, let's get straight into it. It's exactly 18 after the hour 6. You can be a part of the show. Come 1845 086 000 2160 or on WhatsApp 060 552 But here is the sounds of the weekend. Let's begin perhaps with coach reaction. Here's Jose Riviero, who finally won his match in Cape Town. This is what he had to say.
We really wanted to win a game here in Cape Town. Finally, we couldn't make it in the previous three. Today, luckily, it was the time. I think we played a good game. Too many different games inside the 90 minutes. The beginning was difficult for us with the Stellenbosch pressure. After the red card becomes even more difficult because of the lack of space. We have to change the result. We conceded 1 goal in the end of the first half, but we did everything in order to make it possible. All the credit for these players because today they did a fantastic job in the second.
Zakele Lepasa continues to be on fire for Orlando Pirates there as they take a lead into the second leg. There's Steve Barker, the coach at down in Cape Town, says they lost the battle but not yet the war.
Obviously, we lost today, we lost the battle, but we haven't lost the war. So another battle to be played. Thought we really applied ourselves well today. Obviously, the red card early in the games makes it really difficult, but we're able to get a lead. And yeah, obviously, second half without the extra man, or with the extra man, it just became difficult to cover all the spaces. And they got 2 quality balls into the box, and so it was 2-1.
Here's Molefe Nteki now, who played Mamelodi Sundowns on their weaknesses.
The weaknesses will always be on the sides, and the plan was to have quick combinations after regaining possession and also changing the point of attack. And I think the biggest challenge was us whenever we regain possession, not having those options or not playing into those options. Instead, we wanted to dribble through, we wanted to carry the ball, and as a result, we're giving the possession away again.
And then Rolando Mokoena speaks on losing Tempazwane.
I sit here every press conference, I'm asked how important Mshishi is. So important, especially for 2 reasons: how we want to play, and number 2, because he's the captain. So losing him was a big blow, and we are literally down to bare bones in the attacking department.
I don't know what to make of that Sundowns Chiefs game, like I said, but hearing Molefe Nteki speak the way he does, he obviously had a solid plan, and it worked for the better part of that game. And when you listen to Nteki there in the clip that we played, he makes a lot of sense. Their weaknesses on the side, so be narrow, and Kaizer Chiefs were very narrow. The only problem and the only thing that didn't quite come off in what he's saying is, he says once we regain the ball, keep position and move forward, it's something they were unable to do.
He went on further, Andile. In fact, he was very upset with the first half. He said the less said about the first half, the better, because that was not the game plan at all. How Chiefs played in the second half is how the coach would have preferred for them to approach the game. So a lot of people were talking about how Chiefs were defensive-minded and that, but that wasn't the case from the coach.
Let's take a break. When we come back, Mazola Molefe's got his stories. Orlando Pirates getting the better of downtown Stellenbosch there in Cape Town. And of course, Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs 1-1 is how that ended. Would love to hear your views and your thoughts on those two games. 26 after the hour 6. Remember that does not stop with just local football. Anything from the weekend. The Formula One, if you want to get into that. Max Verstappen, just untouchable at the moment, isn't he? Started second on the grid, but it didn't even look like it. Faster than any car out there right now. I keep asking the same question. Is that car fully legal? I don't know. Mazola, what do you have for us? Let's start with golden arrows, because I want to get this out there. Please read for me verbatim what the message, after we've heard that the coach, Vusumuzi, Vilakazi, is leaving. This is a coach that's sitting second at the moment in their DStv Premiership. So everything is going well football-wise, right? Yeah. Everything with the squad that he's got and the limitations that we know Golden Arrows to have. This is a man that is having them...
Just beaten SuperSport United 3-0 a couple of days ago.
Sitting in second, despite the shortcomings of his qualifications being a point of contention and conversation. He's sitting in second alongside Maputi Kenyeza. We hear that he's leaving. He confirms he's leaving. Yeah. What does the club say?
The club just tweets, Lamontville Golden Arrows accepts coach Vusumuzi Vilakazi's resignation.
Full stop.
Full stop.
There's got to be more to the story. It does not seem one of those amicable parting type of stories here.
It can be, yeah. Because how we found out at SABC Sport is through, obviously, if you've saved someone's... number on WhatsApp, you can see their statuses and if they've saved yours, vice versa. How we picked it out was seeing the coach's statement on WhatsApp saying, yes, I'm leaving, thank you, Mama, We asked coach, is it true? You definitely leaving? Yes, I'm leaving. No other follow-up statements after that. This was Sunday evening.
So the stories come out, two different ones, about why coach Vusumuzi Vilakazi left. I need to have my journalistic integrity about me on this one.
Fair, yeah.
And I need to be fair in how we report the story, because it is a potential career-ending story.
Absolutely.
If we speak about the reasons why we're hearing Vusumuzi has left Golden Arrows. If I just come on this radio and I just repeat what is being said and what we've learnt about it without having given him
the right of
or the club, which we've reached out to. Which we've reached out to, both him and the club. Yeah. You know, I think it's only fair that we have Vusumuzi come and defend himself.
Absolutely.
Because if we go on air and we say what it is that...
And those are damning allegations, because at first they were circulating on social media, WhatsApp groups, but now there's an article that's actually come out accusing him of...
So if we say that, if we're irresponsible enough to share that with you, I think it would do irrevocable damage to the man's career. Yeah. So I will await a conversation with him, and we'll then take it from there. So let's move on from that.
Yeah, moving on. Let's go back to what we played top of the hour, just to dive deeper into Coach Hugo Bross's comments. You were with him last week alongside Velile announcing his squad, and a question was asked at the presser, why no Kaizer Chiefs players? To which he responded, suggesting that there's no player there that can give him what he's looking for. The coach now has come out, and this is not him being asked a question. It was an opening statement before the presser ahead of the weekend game against Namibia, and then subsequent to that, DRC Congo.
And after those 2 weeks, I will take contact with Ncube, because I know him very well. I don't, not a lot, but I have a few meetings when I came here, because my first idea was to have him as my assistant. But okay, it doesn't work. So, and then came Elman, with who I'm very happy. Don't misunderstand me. So I know him very well. And I know that he's upset, because I said that players don't deserve now, actually, currently, to be a Bafana player because of their performances. But I didn't say that he didn't change something, because then I attack a colleague on his skills. And I will never do that. And it's worse when somebody put those words in your mouth, and that he has to know. So I will take contact with him when I come back.
Well, that's the coach saying, look, after the FIFA break, I'll set up a meeting with Coach Nteki, because I was not insulting his integrity and his skills as a coach. I was merely saying, for me right now, there are no Kaizer Chiefs players that are worthy of being part of the 23. But subsequent to that, Mbazwane gets injured, Pule Moody gets a call-up. So there is actually a Kaizer Chiefs player in the 23-man squad.
But then, obviously, there's going to be thoughts around that particular call-up.
Of course. I mean, there will be question marks of whether Pule had been in the initial, preliminary squad to begin with, and this is a player that the coach has picked before, given a debut 2 in previous international friendly matches. So, I mean, given the comments, yes, maybe Pule himself or, the club might feel untoward, but, Pule has always been a player on Coach Hugo Bruce's radar. We'll keep abreast with what's happening. We will find out whether that meeting does in fact take place after the FIFA break or if it's just lip service.
Once again, it's very sad that the coach has to address such. It's very sad that he has to speak individualistically about a team and continue to do so. Furthermore, Mbazwane, he's okay. It was pretty bad. He got a cut above his eye and he was bleeding. You were at the stadium.
Yeah. I saw him being stretchered off, got a closer look, and then obviously asked the coach and the doctor. I spoke to Dr. Paul on the Sundowns bench during the game to just kind of get an update. And what we saw is that she did get a cut. The coach made comments about why it was not a foul, but obviously the coach had not seen the replay because Temba actually fell on Yusuf Mat's boot, after the tackle. But I think maybe the coach meant the subsequent follow-up tackle on another Sundowns player, but it was purely an accident where she fell on Yusuf Mat's boot and sustained those injuries. But the coach says he's an important player, and it's going to be difficult to kind of be able to get a replacement if the injury is long term, because it's a concussion, which probably means 14 days observation.
Well, here it is. This is Rana Mokoena speaking on Zwane's facial injury.
What surprises me more about that Mshishi's situation was the foul didn't even go to us. That was the biggest thing, with a deep cut that has had him hospitalized. But the foul went against us. That's probably my biggest thing.
And I think it goes to what Mazola says. I don't think he had seen it, Principal, because, I don't think he would have said that had he seen it.
Yeah, if he had seen it, he would not have said like that, because both players lost control. They were fighting for the ball. Nobody saw where the ball is, and then it was accidental. So when it's accidental collusion, there's no foul committed where a player should be given a yellow or what. So it's accidental. Sundowns must just take it as accidental. Football happens in football.
Yeah, and I think the player also would have known that he slipped, fell on the boot, and it wasn't intentional at all. The final story, we've discussed at length how Sianda Xulu came back to South Africa. You had the facts. You knew that from what you were told when you were in Ulundi, he was on the verge of joining AmaZulu, but there was a U-turn. He went to SuperSport United. I finally got to chat with Sianda on why he's come back. We spoke about a lot of things, including Thabo Xele, who's gone to Russia, where Sianda played for a couple of years and left because of an alleged racist remark. But here he talks about why it was lucrative for him to come back home.
If you had to ask me the very same question a month ago, I would have just told you that I'm going back overseas. But what SuperSport came with, it was a very interesting project for me as a brand, for me as a player. It brought in some stability, and which is something that I need at this age. So the offer came. It was a very lucrative project for me.
What is he talking about? What is lucrative?
Lucrative. You were the one who had the numbers on the show, so you tell us. I don't know.
You spoke to him.
But I didn't ask him the numbers.
So he says to you lucrative, and you don't ask.
No, but you think Sianda will tell me how much he's earning?
Guys, please call us 086 000 2160.
You think he'll tell us how much he's earning?
The super journal is not super. What? The guy says to you, it's a lucrative contract. You don't ask him what lucrative means.
No, because I already had your information. You said it was. You gave the numbers, so give us the numbers, Andile.
But it sounds as if it goes a little bit further than just football, or perhaps his football career. It sounds like they offered him something over and above that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got more clips, but for the sake of time, we won't play all of them. But he does talk about the fact that he considered Bafana as well, who are playing in the AFCON in Ivory Coast next year, and he needed to be closer to Hugo to see him, because let's be honest, Azerbaijan, yes, he was being picked because Hugo likes him as a person and as a player because of his experience, but over time, he probably was going to disappear into the wilderness. But when he's closer to home, playing for a club like SuperSport United that has a cup pedigree as well, his chances improve. And I think Sianda turns 32 later this year, and he wants more stability. He's been given a 2-year contract with an option to renew, so you can do the maths.
Oh, right. It sounds good. It's good maths. It's very good maths. No, it's lucrative. It's lucrative. 1836. Mazola doesn't ask, guys. Yeah, if you hear Andile's earning lucrative, you don't want to know what lucrative is. Even Victor, you would have asked.
I would have asked.
What would you have said?
Lucrative. How big is lucrative?
Let's take a break. When we come back, Vic tells us about the moments that we saw from this past season. You might have seen this past weekend, rather. You might have seen the video that's trending, because it is trending. It is on social media at the moment, from the Tuks versus Maritzburg game in the championship. There is no ways that something like that stands, Victor. We can't week in, week out be speaking about referees. Week in, week out be speaking about the quality of our game because of referees. At 18:45, taking your calls.
The Three Wise Men, but not always so wise, on Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
My station, my music.
Metro FM, it's where you want to be. Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
Podcast Friday. I've got Pro Pilane, Konza, Dr. Mnandi Academy, and Nadine Kilopete is out in Soweto. Kia?
Hey,
Shapulwa. No, Keshapu, man, talk to me.
Number one, Mamed. Wabona usan. Bashimani libanna ba ahohan. Bashimani bako pepeni batabonala. Banna bako mamilodi batabonala.
Bashimani bako guy?
Bashimani bako pepeni batabonahala. Banna bako pitori. Mamilodi batabonahala.
I wish next week in Kabualo after game here tomorrow.
We can even see a soccer jersey here.
We're going to chase Namtaji. I know you're in German.
Where's the camera? Where's the camera?
No, there's a camera on him there. Everyone on Facebook can see it.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Metro FM, it's where you want to be. Turn it up. Hashtag the weekend that was.
That is the final whistle.
On Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
1838 on the Mighty Metro FM. It's the weekend that was with the Three Wise Men. Hey, clearly not always so wise, because we can't ask basic questions now. So we're not always so wise here. You see, I tell you all the time, we don't know everything. Tafik, the weekend that was. Let's perhaps, and also, guys, remember, if you have moments that you'd like to talk about that are not necessarily within the DSTV Premiership, they could be in the EPL and La Liga. If you can pinpoint those moments for us so that we're able to
please.
Take a look at them, then we'll definitely take a look at them, because the principle, the rules are the rules. They're not different in any other country than they are here. Let's start with the one I want to talk about. I sent you the video.
Yes.
You took a look at the video. Tuks versus Maritzburg. It ended 2-2.
We will only speak on the rules. It's unlike it will be speculation. The rule says under law number 8, the start and restart of play.
So let's explain what happens here.
Yeah.
I think it's Tuks that scores, right? Correct? Tuks scores a goal, and they're still celebrating.
Yes.
And they then retreat to go back to their own half so that we can begin the game again.
Yeah.
And as they're moving back, some are still, yes, they've all crossed the line into their own half.
Yes.
But they're still within the circle.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There's 4 players that are still within the circle when when Maritzburg United kick off.
Yes.
And then they go and score.
Yeah.
While the other team is still settling.
Yeah, we let's go to the procedure. There's what we call procedure under law 8 as to when do we say the ball is in play. Now, number 1, it says all opponents must be on their own half of the field of play. That is fulfilled. We are happy about that. Now, it further says the opponents of the team taking the kickoff must be at least 9.15 meters or 10 yards from the ball until it is in play. Until it is in play. When is the ball in play? When the ball is kicked and clearly moves. So now in that situation, there's a player inside the center circle who's not 9.15 meters away from the ball.
Because the center circle tells us that.
Exactly. So now that kickoff cannot be the procedure has been violated, cannot be a legitimate kickoff because there's a player inside the center circle wherein the referee must take the player out and then allow kickoff to start with the proper procedure of kickoff. So now here we see a violation of law number 8 in terms of the procedure for kickoff.
So that goal should not have stood.
It should have been a retake, or else the referee give a yellow card to the player who he thinks he's delaying the restart of the game. That is allowed if you delay, but not to allow.
But what I'm thinking is it's the referee's fault because the other player would not kick off unless the referee is given the go-ahead.
Exactly. Look at the law here. It says the referee gives a signal.
So therefore the referee gave the signal.
So if the referee say you cannot start kickoff or when a goal is scored before the referee says Tswe. So now if the referee says Tswe, then that's when you can kick the ball.
At SNA_ with Andile. That's our handle. Sportsnet Amplified with Andile. At SNA_ with Andile. We're going to tweet that goal. We're going to tweet it right now. So go over there to at SNA_ with Andile and tell us your thoughts. What do you have as well?
Yeah, let me read the last one on it. It says the opponents of the team taking the kick must. That word must. It means you have to be outside. But let's go to the midweek matches and see Titus from Stellenbosch. Titus got a red card for the reckless tackle. 2 yellow cards. I also gave him a yellow card while I was still a referee for the same thing. He's not stopping. He's not stopping. So in Afrikaans, when we say calm down, we say calmer. Right, let's go again to Hlungwani City Sundowns. Lebo Mabua got a red card. We're not happy about that red card.
No, very unfortunate for a player who needs the game time.
Exactly. Yeah. It's more reckless or stopping a promising attack than excessive force. So when we go to soccer zone, we'll tell you more as to...
It was harsh.
It was very harsh. Not even harsh. Very, very harsh.
Very, very
now
harsh.
It's lucrative harsh.
Extremely harsh.
So Lebo Mabua should have not gotten a red card.
Yeah, that red card was very harsh. The tackle itself or the challenge itself was more reckless or stopping a promising attack. There was no malicious. There was no excessive force use.
All right, thank you so much. The rest of the stories that you have there, you're taking on to Soccer Zone this evening, yeah? SABC 1.
That's it.
No, let's go one more.
Let's go one more. Mudau. Mudau. 83 minutes, he got a yellow card for stopping a promising attack. 90 plus 5, Mudawi put his hand on the face of Reef Rosler.
Should have been sent off. Should have never been on the pitch to score the goal.
Mudau. No, 95, because the goal came 92.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Womuda, with the use of hands, it's illegal in football.
So you're saying you should have gotten a red card?
If you look at the hand on the face,
no.
We need to take it to soccer zone, where we'll show the hand on the face. That hand on the face, clearly yellow card.
No questions.
No questions.
No referee's discretion.
Hand on the face, yellow card. Mudau should have walked.
But did he see where the player was?
You can use your body, but not the hands. This is football. It's not rugby where you can use hands. You're not allowed to use hands in football. Only the goalkeeper inside the penalty area.
We'll check the rest of Soccer Zone. And of course, you can check that moment out as well. Mazola, we've answered this so many times, but I think we need to answer it again. President Yamatuke wants to know, how does a player gain man of the match in South Africa? The past weekend's man of the match award was very debatable. Let's see. In the Sundowns Chiefs match, the man of the match was
Castillo.
Stiletto, ne? And in the Pirates Stellenbosch was Patrick Maswangai.
Well deserved.
How is a player or man of the match picked in the DStv Premiership or in games in South African football?
We'll repeat again.
The
host broadcaster.
And the host broadcaster in this instance is always going to be SuperSport. So the broadcaster is SuperSport, yes, okay?
They are commentators or / analysts, whether in studio or at the game. decide who the man of the match.
So it could be that the 2+1 that is sitting in studio,
Correct.
the commentators as well as whoever's on the field, they all say who their player is, and then it's put into a party to see who's got the most from there.
From what I know, because
that's how we used to do it as well here at the SABC.
And
when we were host broadcasters, that's how we do it as well.
And that's how it works Super Sport as well, because obviously I've sat with my colleagues touchline and interacted with them. They deliberate whether in studio with the guys or are doing touchline or commentary at the venue to decide and agree on a man of
So
the
there
match.
you have it. Host broadcasters Andile, Mazola, Konza, Dr. Kumalo, they pick.
Correct.
And then, whoever's got the most votes.
But now when you say it like that, you make it sound like it's us. No,
get a
it's Super
bakara.
Sport, yeah.
No, bakara. Andile bakara. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Grant Mangerman.
Hey, you don't like speaking into the mic. This man is allergic to the mic.
Grant Mangerman, Super Sport Stellenbosch. He got man of the match. He was not supposed to finish the match. He got a yellow card. Was supposed to get a second yellow card. So as to the discipline part, I don't know, Mazola. It looks like it does. They don't entertain it. Maybe they look at other aspect of the contribution of the player.
It's 18:46. Let's go to your voice notes. After that, we'll be taking your calls. I'd love to know, as a Chiefs fan, it came across as, and you can correct me here. I mean, Molefe definitely didn't plan it like that, but it came across as a very fearful, respectful performance from Kaizer Chiefs, particularly in that first half. It looked like there was a fear of this Mamelodi Sundowns team. Yes, they scored the goal. Yes, they could have held on to a victory there, but they got a draw. Are you then happy, not with the result, but with how the execution went? You look at the ball position. You look at the fact that in the first half, there was not a single shot, not on target, not off target. There was nothing. Not even one that went, just by the corner flag. There was absolutely nothing.
We hardly saw Ronwen Williams in that first half.
You saw him once, in fact. You saw him once when there was a ball over the top that he came out of his box to clear.
Yeah.
That was the only one. Let's play your voice notes.
Hashtag the weekend that was.
That is the final whistle.
On Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Good evening, Andile. What a weekend it was. Andile, I want to tell you that Molefe you proved the doubters wrong. The way how Kaizer Chiefs played against the Sundowns, trust me, that team this season is going to be marvel to watch. And I'm glad to see that Molefe now is coming up with his combination and the teams is working well for him. And I really wish him to succeed at Kaizer Chiefs. This is Mike from Cape Town. Big thanks, Andile, for the show. Big up.
Andile. Spoken ka mo Polokwane. Andile. Molefe ka Friday o tlo founela Jose Mourinho. Wa bona 811 simple. Andile, we do that at Lucas Moripe, the game will be over in the first half. We need an identity. So far, out of 7 coaches at Chiefs, we still don't have an identity. Andile, running times. Thank you.
Good evening. The 3 wise men. Hey, what a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive. As a national fan, I don't know how it feels to be Man United and Chelsea and still sit in the same room and talk about sport. Yo, man, you guys are having a hard time. Like you going through the most, guys.
Good evening, Mr. Andile Ncube.
It's a roast.
I'm Cape Town Cooks and the Orlando Pirates supporter. Yeah, and the weekend, Pirates won yesterday. I was there at Athlone. I was celebrating. Then later, around 5, Arsenal would beat Manchester United. Yeah, my weekend is much better. For the 2 teams, Sundowns and Chiefs, I don't know. But anyway, nalinde win phakathi kwazo. But minqono yami Sundowns. Once a parade, always a parade. Sharp.
Appreciate that one.
Evening, Ma and the team at the studio. It's Harbour from Boxbeck.
What's going on, Hugo?
Quick. I love Mr. Hlungwani to check on incidents of Khuliso Mudau, the first yellow card, and his incidents with Frosler just before the game ends.
Hey, spot
I saw
on.
2 similar incidents. So my question is, why is he not booked for the second offense? And lastly, I want to touch base on international. The Ferguson from Brighton scoring a hat-trick. That was a moment for me. And I'm very, very happy to see Foster doing so well. I just hope he scores on a winning game, eh? We must be proud of South Africans. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And we are supporting the man there. I actually tweeted the other day and I asked, it doesn't look like the kind of support that was given to Percy Tau has been given to Fosler. And people said, hey, please don't do it. Don't give him. Nobody wants that support. Nobody wants that support. Let's go to Tsepo. Tsepo is out in Guamhlanga. Tsepo, welcome, Tsepan.
Ma.
Hey, man.
Big guy, look, please, if you can do this on Soccer Zone this evening for me. Check the match, the first game that we played against Standards, the league game, and the one we played this previous weekend.
Okay.
You will then see there's no difference. Those were the plans from Nseki. He was just making an excuse saying the boys, they played in their own way and all that. Just check the two and you'll see.
What was similar in those two games? Come on, in this game in particular, if you watch this past weekend and you look at how compact the Chiefs players were, you look at how much work Dupree had to do in coming back and how they didn't have an outlet up front, I would think that it seemed a very clear plan this time around.
No, check the first 45 minutes especially. I'm more concerned about the first 45 minutes. What takes place is that the first 45 minutes we should be compact. There shouldn't even be anyone in front. All the 10 should be behind the ball. Then we'll just go on counter-attack and all that. So that's not the Chiefs' way of playing football.
So tell me, if you guys had won that game, would you be happy with the result? Or would you have hated the game nonetheless?
Look, it's a cup game. I would have been happier. But then, look, that's not how we play football. The second half was much better. I hope come the second leg, we will play as we played in the second half. Or else, most of us will then switch off, come first 45 minutes, and watch the second 45 minutes.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mtsabana out in Guamhlanga. Let's go now to, where are we going? Ubonkosi out in Soweto. Ubonkosi. Yeah, man, I'm strong. Talk to me.
I was at the Soweto FNP Stadium on Saturday.
Hey, well done to you. It was a beautifully filled stadium. Our, Sundowns matches with Pirates and Chiefs are starting to fill up just as much. I can't wait till we see 90,000 in that one as well. Go for it.
No, I want to eat Chiefs. It's a look defender for the first half. But I want to go to the Epitori, they must go all out. There's no chance for defending, and then it's just someone who's going to beat them.
So you're saying if Chiefs had gone toe-to-toe in the Sundowns from the get-go, it was a shower?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that Sundowns at least they're able to get the goal.
Who do you support, Monkos?
Sundowns.
Oh, okay.
When I'm looking at the last season against Pirates, at least I'm happy now we get a goal, Yahweh goal. Then now, at least now by playing home, at least we're going to make things simple for us.
Thank you so much, man. Man.
And
Friday, the boys are here. Podcast Fridays. Zapa Friday. No, Nagajani Friday. Let's go now to Ratanda. Hey, we've never had a call from Ratanda, Timmy. This is the first, eh?
Yo.
Hey, Malibong.
Hey, Ma.
Hey, man. All the way in Ratanda.
What is it?
All the way in Ratanda. It's the first time we're hearing from Ratanda here.
That's what they call him, Zumbi.
Oh, talk to us, man.
Yeah. Look, my man, I just want to comment specifically about the game Chiefs on Saturday. My man, just to mention a few things, I still see the very same Kaizer Chiefs that was playing last season, coached by Uata, still the very same mistakes that are going to happen this season. Why am I saying that? Technically, Molefe was a technical advisor for Uata last season, and Uata was the head coach. Now tables have turned. Uata is an assistant, and Molefe is the coach. Coming back to the game on Saturday, you are playing with Sundowns, you are leading 1-0, and you're not doing anything in terms of substitutions. You see Sundowns taking defenders, putting attacking players, you are doing nothing in terms of trying to manage the game. You wait until Sundowns scores, an equalizer, only then ufaka defenders I2. For what good reason? Why are you defending? Because you've already conceded. My thinking was you pull a Modi out or Pontane out, you put Sahile and you put another defender as like Nobo. You defend, but you wait until you counter. You gotta catch them in a counter. You've got Tupri's who's got pace, you've got Sahile that has got pace. So you wait, you defend while you're waiting for an opportunity for a counter attack. Last thing.
Very quickly, go for it.
For the last 3 games against Sundowns, Chiefs, actually not 3, 4, Chiefs has never scored or conceded or even made a shot on target or even a shot on its own against Sundowns. That tells you one thing. Sundowns, each Chiefs started Sundowns. I don't know why.
Malibong Atin I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. No one is saying anything about your new striker, Kaizer Chiefs. The one thing I did see, I kept hearing about how big he is. He's a big guy.
No, he's huge.
You saw him live. How big is he?
He's huge. I don't know how to explain.
Is it like because you're small guys? He's like twice your size. But you're small.
No, I mean he's about not Matthew Booth height, but close.
Jeez, that's a towering guy. I don't think I saw enough to say anything about the man.
No, I didn't see enough either. Even, the coach was asked about Gonzalez afterwards. He just merely said, look, we've got the FIFA break now, and it'll be time for him to sort of adapt and adjust to our style of play. Because, and they were also playing against the champions, so...
Yeah. Sinong.
Hey,
talk to me, man.
Yeah, I believe a lot of guys covered local football. Let me go.
I know where you want to go. Of course we know where you want to go. Go for it.
Yes, Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 0, and then Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1 for handing over Chelsea. Their first win.
No, you can move on to Man United and Arsenal. The Chelsea game was earlier.
Their first win at Chelsea since January 1995. You understand? Yes. And then the last but not least, Arsenal 3, Manchester United 1. That was the Premier League over the weekend. Mazola and Mr. VAR, I think.
Congratulations, Sinong. I'm not a sole loser. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ref, usapota mango go England. Go England uka support or refera?
Arsenal bamfile t-shirt.
Let's go to Justin in Cape Town. Justin.
Hello, how are you, Andy?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. What do you want to talk about?
Dr. Mnandi and Osiamina Kuala Numaka Mogon. Bonan, Kaizer Chiefs has got a big problem if they're not looking at it. That's why they lose these games. With the Kaizer Chiefs that we are looking at now, we don't have the Kaizer Chiefs that is looking over the shoulder. I'm talking about the player when he's in possession of the ball. They always take their balls with coming from behind because they don't even check over their shoulders. The other thing is, Andile, when last did you see Kaizer Chiefs having passing in different 3 players? It is a big problem that we are facing.
There was no fluidity in play.
Yes, the other thing that we are facing is that we've got strikers that are not, placed the ball to the positions where they have to run for it and then score goals. They are always fighting for goals. They need to sit down and find the combination that will start from the middle going forward.
Justin,
because
I appreciate
it. They go forward and they come back.
Thank you so much, man.
That they are going for. Yes, thank you very much.
Doctor, you're the absolute last one. We're waiting for Faith. Oh, there she is. You're eating into her time, so make it quick. Hello? Yep.
How's it?
No, I'm good, man. Don't even greet me. Go straight into it.
Look, let's give Hlungwani his flowers while he's still alive.
Why? What did he do?
Thank you. That's a good question. Sundowns are capable of making a great team look ordinary.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
they're capable of making a great team look ordinary. So this Chiefs team is a great team.
Look at Kaizer Chiefs team sheet. They wanted to attack, but Sundowns made them look.
I don't think so, man, Doctor.
Ordinary.
Doctor, I don't think so.
Look at the time Hlungwani Mokoena at Sundowns until now. All
the he's done well.
We played, we made them look ordinary. Even Pirates, Mazola is going to give Sundowns a headache. You will see that they will play them. They will look ordinary.
You guys hate Mazola. Yo, Mazola gets trusted with everything.
Yeah, about Mazola, they say the other journalists, but Mazola. So I don't know.